All right. I think we'll go ahead and get the meeting rolling. So good evening, everybody. Anthony, KE70SN. Guess I'm not net control. I am the chair of the board for the PRA. So I'll go ahead and go down the list as I see it here. So first up, I have Mike.
Good evening, everybody. This is Mike, W7PRA, located just about 10 miles north of Corvallis.
Then I got Scott.
Hi, everybody. You all know me, KF7GGN. I'm smack dab in the middle of Corvallis.
Then Thomas.
Thomas, KX7RAY, and I'm in Northeast Bend.
Then I have Andy.
Hi, Andy, A7AB, and I'm southwest of Philomath.
Next up, I've got, looks like Larry.
I'm Larry. I'm AF7NU, and I'm just a little bit north of HP.
Nobody wants hot chocolate?
Olin.
Hello, I'm Olin. I'm in Corvallis, and I'm WA7YXY.
Paul.
Paul, KJ7BFQ, and I'm about halfway between Roseburg and Winston.
Tyler.
Tyler Parsons, WB7DD, and I'm in South Corvallis.
Ted.
I'm W7RTM, and I am about 2 miles outside of Philomath on Highway 34.
Let's see. Drew.
Drew Terrell, coming in from South Albany, and I'm W3HES.
Next up, I've got Chris.
Chris, AB7BS, driving down Interstate 5, just left Corvallis.
Good to hear, Chris. Al.
This is Al, WB7RAB. I'm up in the Portland area right now, normally Corvallis.
All right. And anybody that I miss with the names jumping around? All right, hearing none. So I think first up we would have the secretary's report. Ted.
So I sent out the minutes for December, which were pretty minimal. There's also the minutes from November, and I intended on resending those this week in the event, because we didn't have a quorum last December, so we didn't do any kind of business. But if you had noticed any errors in November, or if you would like additions or deletions from the December meeting, let me know. W7RTM@ARRL.net. Thank you.
All right. And Andy isn't here tonight, but he did send the treasurer's report. So in checking, there is $1,648.70. In savings, $1,475.83. PayPal has $115. There is $46.65 in petty cash for a total asset of $3,291.18. So next up, I believe we do the treasurer's or not treasurer, trustees report. So Chris, any updates on the system to share?
Let's see. Some people might be noticing a buzz when stations key up. In fact, it's happening right now with somebody talking in Medford. There's two different new issues. But they've been going on intermittently for a while. Has a fan that has locked up on the amplifier, and it's in turn causing a pretty good amount of noise on the DC line backfeeding into the system, and it's not being filtered out, which doesn't surprise me. So that's the buzz you're hearing there. And then there's a high pitch woo like that you'll hear when somebody comes in from Ottercrest over on the coast on 539, and that's being caused by a transformer that feeds the entire tower site that's having a lot of oscillation problems. And Central Link and PUD is scheduled to replace that in less than 2 weeks. Had a fiber outage at my restaurant in Eugene yesterday for about 4 hours due to the converter, the optical converter that converts the fiber to Ethernet. So that took down a lot of the connections yesterday and my business and everything else. And so I now have a second connection in there. One comes from Comcast and the other one comes from CenturyLink, and they're hot swappable. So that shouldn't happen again. Let's see. The generator exploded up on Walker Mountain, where Highway 58 and 97 come together. That site is fed by generator power from the Walker Range Fire District and also American Tower. They own it 50-50. And put a cylinder head through the block a week and a half or so ago, put a piston through. So the generator power up there is now no longer for the rest of the winter, but battery banks are pretty strong. So they're just going to roll the dice and go with it since it's been pretty mild. On the camera side of things, on our towerview.live page, we've got some interest from some power companies that want to join that. So we're going to have more live cameras going up at different sites. Right now we have Hoodoo, Walker, Train Mountain, aka Stagger Butte, and I'm forgetting what the other one is. But anyway, there's going to be more happening with that, with some grant money for weather and fire awareness. So they've reached out, and that's going to work out pretty good. So other than that, Anthony, that's all I got. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Chris. I do know some of the people in some of the Aries folks in Corvallis are keeping an eye. When we had the net last Thursday, sounded like Vineyard was dropping out, but they're keeping an eye on that, and we'll keep you posted if it persists.
Are you talking about the lake dropping out?
Yeah.
Oh, that's new. I'll have to test that. I'm in Corvallis quite frequently now, doing a bunch of contracting work. So I'll listen on the UHF and see if it's crapping out, and if so, I'll get it fixed.
Okay. Yeah, it cut out like once or twice on the net, but I don't think they had been able to reproduce it since. So. All right.
No problem. Appreciate the heads up.
Yeah, anytime. Let's see. So previous events and old business. So we had not a whole lot that I remember as far as old business. For previous events, we had, I believe, Straight Key Night. I believe Scott was planning on playing. Anybody else?
I did it, and it wasn't that active, but it was a few people out there doing straight key. It was kind of fun.
Any other radio events from the last month or so?
December 10-meter contest.
Yeah, the 10-meter contest, right.
Anybody have any success there?
My longest contact was Brazil.
Yeah, me too. We had a lot of South America going on. And I don't remember. I'm trying to remember because I get confused. There was like a lot of activity. I was monitoring the WebSDR, different parts of the country, and here in the western part of the states, didn't seem like it was a whole lot going on. And in fact, I didn't hear a lot of stations, but on the East Coast, they were really active. And a lot of the East Coast stations could not be heard over here. So it was an interesting propagation phenomenon that was apparently happening. But we did get South America on 10 meters pretty nicely.
I didn't get a lot of contacts, but it seemed like all of them were down to the southeast.
Right. Yeah, that's
pretty
what
directional.
A lot of southeast, like 4 area contacts and a lot of 4 area activity. But for some strange reason, it just didn't seem like we're getting a whole lot because it wasn't just, I thought maybe it was just my station, but I was looking at WebSDR in San Francisco and Utah and all that. They weren't hearing them either, so don't know what was really happening. Anyway, that's the report on 10 meters.
Did anybody play in the VHF contest?
I know David Hackelman probably did, but he's not here, so.
Yeah, I know he was planning on activating the soccer ball up on the hill, so.
Oh.
Any other old business for the do we have any new business for the
Winter Field Days coming up the last weekend of the month.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, the 30th and 31st. Then I was also going to mention that we have before the next meeting will also be the school club roundup for the winter edition. Kind of curious how many schools are going to be on and in what capacity, but it's always a fun one for when I was a student. And I don't think there's a whole lot else coming up for a while. I think about a week ago, I was thinking, it's about time to, with some of the other announcements coming out and everything, so, it might be worth starting to put 7QP on the radar. But with the announcements that came out shortly afterwards, that may or may not be much change as far as club activities. But thoughts, Mike?
Yeah, Anthony, one of the things I've been watching real closely is, all the ham events that we have going on up through the first half of the year. And virtually everything that I've seen has been canceled for this year. And so 7QP kind of sets time-wise in that April time frame, I believe it is. So it's right in the middle of all of that stuff that's being canceled. So I'm not holding a whole lot of hope for, to pull that off. I mean, all the way down to, I think the last one was the CPAC, which is the first part of June. And then right after that, the end of that month there, we have Field Day. So I haven't seen anything happen for Field Day. But, all that area has all been canceled so far.
Yep. When they first started talking about opening up the availability last week, there was a glimmer of hope that timeline might be conducive to something by May. But as things have changed and will continue to adjust, I may end up trying to venture out to Walton on my own for 7QP, but wouldn't necessarily be encouraging a group.
Yeah, so one of the things I think this time around on the network that we have, I'm going to try and do a little bit more encouraging that people pick different places to maybe go out to and try and sponsor their own 7QP. But and I don't know if I'm going to be going out or not. but I know somewhere along the way I will be in that fray of things.
Yep. Another event to keep an eye out on, the QSO Today Expo for 2021 is doing the virtual format again. This will be March 13th and 14th. Looks like they're doing a $10 registration. It looks like it's largely the same format as they had for the one this past late spring, early summer. So keep that on your radar. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I know we're starting to talk in the search and rescue world about how because we skipped our spring class last year with everything going on, and so now we're trying to evaluate how we're going to do a hybrid class for this spring, and that was one. There's a lot of interest in the people organizing the class to about vaccine availability for the search and rescue volunteers because of the training of people that we need to get done. So that's going to be an interesting class to rework. So I think that's about all I have for new business or anything. Unless anybody has anything else or anybody has any cool radio stuff to talk about.
Quick question for the group. This weekend was supposedly the North American QSO party. I did not participate, but I wondered if anybody did.
I did for a while, and it seemed like it was pretty busy, 20, 40, and 80 meters.
Yeah, I made some contacts.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So with that, I think we'll turn it over to Mike for the presentation on Finding North.